So we'll just get right to it. I want y'all to also stay tuned. We got some surprises mid-episode for y'all. We had a chance to talk to some really cool people involved in the movement. But I want to throw a question out to y'all. Initially, y'all have seen the news lately, everything hitting. What is y'all's thoughts on police defunding? And I'll throw it to you, Toya.
Thank you. Actually, this is something I actually addressed. I think that we're actually using the wrong term of defund. I'd like to say reset. And what I'd like to see for us to have is basically our police department and law enforcement department basically broken down into 4 departments. One that deals with families, one that deals with active investigations, another that deals with homicides, and another that deals with mental illness and mental crises. I think that we need to actually be reprioritizing where we're spending our dollars. So when people are talking about defund the police, we think that they're going to get rid of everything. But no, what we're saying is we want them to take away the militarization of the police officers. They don't need tanks. They don't need a lot of the gear that they have. And so instead of spending that money on gear that our police officers don't need, let's redirect that money into areas where we can specialize our law enforcement, which also keeps due process. I'm not sure if many of you know, but family law is one of those places where we see due process thrown out the window. And that's because the Constitution isn't respected. So when we're talking about defund the police, I say reset the police, and let's make sure that we divide it out into sections that are dedicated to illnesses, that are dedicated to issues that go on in our community when people need an extra hand versus how they are now. There's so that's how I go.
What do you think, Jessica?
Okay, I'll go. So I agree with many points that Toya said. Defunding means that we really, at least in how I'm taking it, that we really need to take funds that we allot so much to our local law enforcement and put it towards the issues that we are primarily using police for, but in a more preventative, proactive way. We are using police to go after panhandlers, but we really need a housing first policy. We're using police to go after people with mental illness, which I've had experience with my grandma, and the police will come and say, well, I can take her to jail, or I can, or you can leave, but what she needs is care, a sufficient mental health infrastructure system within the greater public health infrastructure. And a lot of the times where we just say, let's just support the police and whatever we do, we draw attention from those conversations. Could we be doing something different? I think if something is not working, and the model is not working, and no matter how many times you have restructured it, it's not working, you really need to pull away from relying on that model. Police don't need to be involved nearly as much as they should. And then I'll go into the racial aspect of it, because I'm sure that's why I'm here. Because if you are pouring money, and taxpayer money at that, into a department that is fundamentally, I would say fundamentally unjust, that means people are essentially subsidizing their own abuse. And I'm not with that.
That's interesting. Subsidizing their own abuse. Okay. That's an interesting point. You said you got a point, Kayla?
I just think we need to rethink what public safety actually means in this country, and the history of it, how the police even got started. We need to think about that. We need to consider the history, and I feel like people who want to be police officers should know that history. They should be taking classes and courses. It takes 6 months to become a police officer.
6 months.
But to be a lawyer, to be someone who is actually practicing the law, it takes years and a lot of money. So I feel like they need to put more effort into the history of why they're here, why they're in these communities, and try to learn about the people that they are supposed to be protecting.
Okay. You know, and that's a good point. And looking at everything going on in the city, even right now, I want to, before we get to the segment, I wanted to ask you all, how do you all feel about the city council and the city officials, their response to everything going on in the state, in the city? I mean, we could, I could. I know that's a loaded question because we could talk about arrest rates, we could talk about incarceration rates, but if we focused that and said, what does that look like from, how do you all view how they've handled the ordinances, for instance? Jessica,
no,
we'll start.
Rob.
Or Rob, we can kick it.
Well, I'll be honest, man. You know, and a lot of people, because of relationship, you know, they may not say certain things because they want to maintain certain relationships. But right now, we look real weak, right? I like Frank, but I need Frank to do more.
Frank,
right?
and for the people who don't know,
Frank County, the current mayor of Des Moines, right?
Yep.
I like Connie, the city at large city council, but I need her to do more, right? There are voices that can help move this council in a different way. It's not my job to help you get comfortable with your racism. It's not my job to explain away your racism, right? And when you create a policy that does not benefit people of color, you're not serving your entire community. You're not serving the people who you signed up to serve, right? It's not just the people. What I love about what certain politicians say when they get elected is they say, hey, to everybody that did not vote for me, let's sit down and talk and figure out how I can help meet your needs, right? Because here's the thing, there's a whole group of people that did not support you, but you gonna have to serve now because you sitting in this seat. This isn't a time for you to get petty and be vindictive because this certain business owner decided to rock with this person instead of rock with you, you know, or this certain organization endorsed this candidate instead of endorsing you. It's a time for us all to come together and say, all right, you got the seat, you want it, all right, cool. Let's figure out how we make this better for everybody. And right now, they should have they had ample enough opportunity to talk to Iowa CCI, to talk to NAACP. Jessica and them been a part of this conversation for years, trying to help drive this conversation. And then they want to sit up here and give a watered down bill and give us a bunch of crap and say, hey, and then pass it off as progress. Right? Hey, want to dress it up? You know what's that saying? You put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. Hey, and until you do actual reformative movements of these policies, we can't even have a conversation. I'm gonna tell a quick story, then I'm gonna shut up. My little nephew, Sheldon, who's 7 years old, is growing up in the world. My little nephew, who's 7, I'm only 5'6". He's 7. He's almost up to like my stomach to my chest, and he's 7. Wow. So already, this little black boy is being looked at and viewed in a certain type of way by police.
He's scary now.
He is, right?
Scary now.
And you want to know who else know he's scary? Amy Cooper out there in New York. As she called the police, knowing the response that she would get from an aggressive police by using the privilege of a white woman and then calling them and saying that he was an aggressive black male. In my opinion, they should have charged her with attempted murder, but that's just my thoughts. But our city council, we shouldn't have Amy Coopers on city council. We shouldn't have stuff like that on city council. We need people who are gonna serve everybody, and right now, they serving the people who only voted for them.
DK, do you have a thought?
Yeah. I mean, I think it all comes down to psychology. I mean, we have to really understand what's going on in the brain of people. And when you're having people get in office that are supposed to be men, but still are boys and immature, boys fear two things. They fear women and they fear mature men. So that means I don't want to see your 7-year-old son become a man because I'm a little boy still. So that means, has nothing, to me, it almost even diffuses racism itself. It's saying that racism was designed because of a boy was in office and created these systems, these things that are organized to keep a young man becoming in his full mature state as a man and as a mature woman. And I think that is what happens when you get a boy in office or a girl in office. Now we have somebody who is not operating at their highest potential. And anytime that you get complaining, anytime you get non-competency, if somebody's not competent, if they're not thinking, that means you're dealing with a little boy. You're dealing with a little girl. You're dealing with somebody who can't handle the thought process of those kind of big decisions. So I think we have a lot of boys and girls that are in charge, and they've been in charge for many years. So they've created all these systems that are keeping us as little children playing on this field. And I'm ready to see our people become more competent and get out of that immature state of being boys and girls and becoming men and women.
Okay.
So, speaking for myself, I'm lest anybody get confused. Completely unacceptable, but it's been unacceptable for a long time. And even for members that just came in, they basically just repeated what former members was doing.
Yeah, they fell in line.
Exactly. And I would say it's still acceptable. It's still unacceptable, but I'm not surprised. What do you expect when you have people that think that they can start learning about racism and injustice and the issues in this city on the campaign trail? Like, I get there's a time to listen to certain issues. That's the time for potholes. That's the time for, I need lawns cut in this, or, I need houses brought down. It's not the time to learn about the systemic oppression of people, not just in this city, but across the world, including the United States. That shows a fundamental lack of just local and national history. And so then you get into office and what do you expect but somebody who is going to capitulate on every single topic that requires them to upset their base? Like Rob said, they're going for the people that voted for them. And most of those people are white and wealthy, and most of the city council is white and wealthy. Okay. And then you have people that genuinely try to run for office, to try to make change, to talk about those topics. Like Deidre, like Chelsea, like Marlou. And I'm gonna name names. Carl Voss's platform was on potholes, mostly.
And he did nothing to the black community. He talked to no black.
He talked to nobody.
Who is this again?
Carl Voss is one of the at-large city council members. Yeah, I'm out here to name names.
And Carl, feel free to hit us up to come and defend yourself. Come talk to.
There's no defense. I'm sorry.
No. Totally. Like, and because the point of this is all the conversation. So Carl, you're hearing this. You can come back. I'll invite the same people, and you can express yourself.
We invited him to the show, right?
Okay.
To the Urban Impact show. We invited him.
Okay.
We invited everybody that was on that ticket, right? We said, yo, come talk, because
directly to the
people. To the urban community, right?
Okay.
Come talk to the urban community, and let's have this conversation. We had Linda Westengard show up. We had what was the other guy?
I wasn't on your show.
Jackie. We sent the invite out to everybody.
I never got one.
So we sent it out to everybody. Everybody was invited to come to the show, and so some people came, right? And we had real conversations. Mayor County came. Jack Hatch came.
Okay.
We had real conversations with him. Like, what is your idea right now on how you're going to help African Americans? Period, right? And we having this same conversation with Joe Biden, Teresa Greenfield, Cindy Axne, Abby Finkenauer, Loebsack, right? You got to have these conversations with
Who are the guys
with
that
everybody.
you would say, I guess who are the people on the city council? I guess this is kind of like a segue attached onto that. And I guess it's beyond, because I keep saying city council, but who locally do you all feel like are in the leadership that have like historically ignored us? Like, or who are the specific people that, of course, there's probably one big one that we can name in the state, right? But without going into that, like, who are some people that y'all feel like are
I mean, I
Yeah.
would say, like, this is where we say it's a systemic issue because we could try to, it's not one particular branch of government.
the
You
whole
got a city
system itself.
council
Okay.
that I listened all 4 hours of the city council meeting on Monday. Racial comments were made, extremely racially charged comments were made by a city council member themselves, Joe Gatto.
Yep, Miranda replaced
And
him.
nobody, one, spoke out against him, barely spoke out against the racial comments that were made by trolls interrupting the meeting. And when there was speak out, it was, I'm just acknowledging that it happened and it interrupted the meeting. And not
But
the
not like a
people who
rebuttal
were
of-
there who
yeah.
heard it and
Not
how that
necessarily,
might impact them.
Yeah.
And it showed, and it didn't even figure like it was actual, that should motivate you to pass this even more, because there's not trolls interrupting the meeting saying, can I curse?
Sure.
Fuck 12 or anything like that. It was people saying nigger and Negro shouldn't be here and stuff like that. Polk County supervisors passed a curfew with, I feel like, the intention just to prevent protesters from being able to protest. So effectively curbing free speech. That shows that you're not really in support of us unless we do things the way that you like.
Yeah.
But the way that you like is the way that is compliant. It allows you to be comfortable. And racism is not comfortable. It's certainly not comfortable for me or anybody at this table.
Right.
And so you and your anti-racism work do not get to be comfortable as well. And so we can talk about the Polk County supervisors, and then we can go to the state legislator, and we can go to the governor, and then we can go to
from
any
there.
other part, any other legal part or political part of the country and even the world, because I know we're talking about local, but it is.
Affects the whole. Let me stop you right there, John. Do you have that clip ready?
Yeah.
So what we're going to do now, I actually, before this broadcast, I actually had a chance to talk to City Council member Josh Mandelbaum, who addressed some of the things that we're talking about today. I got a chance to ask him the same questions I'm asking this panel just to see what his response was. And shouts to him for being willing to be our first political guest and take that chance. So John, if you're ready, you could play that clip. I want to personally thank you again for coming on. And being willing to address people in these times, for sure.
Yeah, well, happy to do it. I'm glad to have the opportunity. So thanks for providing that. And I view this as a start of the conversation. So this is hopefully one of many opportunities.
Absolutely. I want to just start with the thing that's on everyone's mind, the recent ordinance. Can you explain kind of how that was written, how that got started, or?
Yeah, well, I'll go back. So the process for this, and I know folks have had some frustration in terms of how long it's gone on, but I'll go back. And it started when I was new to the council. I've been on the council maybe 3 or 4 months, and community members came to the council and asked 3 of us, this was in the spring of 2018, asked 3 of us to participate in a series of community meetings over the course of the summer of 2018 to talk about racial profiling. And I was one of the 3 council members that they asked. And so I willingly said yes immediately and was involved in a series of meetings over the course of the summer of 2018. And then in the fall of 2018, the same folks came back and took what they heard and what I heard over the course of those meetings and put that in what they call an ordinance, but it was really 6 different policy points. And the 6 policy points was 1, a ban on racial profiling, 2, data collection at all stops, 3, a requirement for de-escalation and implicit bias training, 4, making marijuana enforcement the lowest priority for police, 5 is a citizen review board. Which one am I leaving off? There's a 6 point. And I'm blanking
it's all
because
good.
I
No,
went through the list, but I'm missing one, which I apologize for. But there's 6 different pieces.
okay.
Oh yeah, pretextual stops. I
Okay.
shouldn't be missing that one. So
Oh, you're fine.
uh,
What
abandoned pretextual
stakeholders?
stop. Oh, go
What
ahead.
stakeholders were involved in drafting this this ordinance?
So CCI was the main group involved, and then they brought on partner groups. So the NAACP and the ACLU have been the main groups that have been involved throughout the process. And so one of the things when it came to the council, back in the fall of 2018, we directed the manager to work on several of those items and come back to the council. And since then, there have been sort of multiple back and forths where language had come to the council and some of us thought it wasn't strong enough and it went back to the drawing board, and it's been kind of a long process since then.
Okay. Okay. Kind of shifting. So, and a lot of these questions are questions that were polled to us from viewers that were, excited that you were going to come on. So one of the questions that we had was, do you think, or what do you think the city has done to address racial disparities, or do you think the city has done enough? I guess it's a twofold question. Do you think the city has done enough, and what things are the city doing to address these racial disparities?
Yeah, so no, the city hasn't done enough. I mean, obviously we have disparities in all aspects of life. I mean, the One Economy report shows that, and we have pretty significant racial disparities. So simple answer, no, we haven't done enough to solve that. Our community doesn't work for everyone, and doesn't lift everyone up. So we've got work to do.
Yeah.
Some of what we're doing is the racial profiling ordinance. That's a piece. The work of the Human and Civil Rights Commission on the Bridging the Gap initiative is another piece where there are a lot of different components to that, and we have to make sure we fund them and actually implement them. But there's been a lot of work there, from Ladder Up program helping small businesses, reinvigorating the Youth Advisory Committee. There's a whole host of actions within that framework that we need to actually implement. One other thing, and we need to provide the resources. We underfund our Human and Civil Rights Commission, and that's a problem too. For
sure. I guess another question that we would have, and I agree with a lot of that. Another question we would have is, when in implementing a lot of these things moving forward, who are the groups or the people in the city or in the region that you plan on working with to help make sure that those points get made and that some of these things actually go forward? I mean, I think, and just to give you background of where that question comes from, there's been a pushback, I think, with a lot of our viewership being younger, typically the crowd that doesn't really get heavily as talked to during voting season. They're just wanting to know who specifically from that's not a part of the old guard, so to speak, that you're going to be working with to help push some of these things forward.
Yeah, well, I mean, and there are groups, NAACP, ACLU, CCI, and that may be part of who you're referring to when you refer to the old guard.
Yeah.
Although some of it, there's newer leadership. Cameron Middlebrooks is younger. I'm just starting to develop a relationship with folks from Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
I was on a call with a couple of the leaders there, but not certainly not the full scope of folks. But my hope is that a generation from now, we're calling the folks who are getting engaged and being part of Black Lives Matter today the old guard 20, 30 years from now, because they'll have been engaged and been a part of making change. And for better, for worse, there's always going to be more change that we need to make. I mean, there's always going to be more to do, but hopefully in this moment, we're going to make some significant strides. And part of it too, sometimes I don't even know who I'm missing from the conversation.
Okay.
That's
That's fair. Yeah.
But what I want to tell people is I'm willing to talk to anyone and everyone who wants to work on moving the community forward. So if I'm missing your voice today, let me know that. I'm going to be at a community forum on Thursday with CORE. So that's going to capture another piece. It's more youth focused, but I'm sure that doesn't capture everyone. And so, email me. My email is joshmandelbaum@dmgov.org. My cell phone, my city cell is 515-250-3384. Although I will say that the number of messages I've gotten the last couple of weeks, I haven't been able to return all the calls, but in normal times, I can usually return every call I get.
No, for sure. I think that's understandable. And to piggyback onto that, I think, because I think we even talked about, we're doing this for everyone that's watching. We're doing this via Zoom just because of, we want to maintain some form of social distancing and understanding of that situation going on. But Josh has already vocalized that he's willing to come on, be a part of a panel, sit around and join in these discussions openly. And that's super dope of you. I wanted to just publicly put that out there that you had said that. Also, because you answered everything, and this is the Sunday supper. So we do want to make sure that, at the end of tough conversation, so Josh, what is your go-to Sunday food? Like your favorite is Sunday, it's time to eat, time to throw down. What are you praying is on that table? Like, come on.
Well, so the family and what my kids really like is we make chicken pot pie. So that's become a staple.
Okay.
It's a simple way, and I get my kids to eat some veggies because you throw the veggies in the chicken pot pie, the peas and the carrots, and so that's kind of become a go-to food in our household. Okay,
bet. Yo, well, Josh, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here at the Sunday Supper. We're going to actually take this, dissect it a little bit. I thank you so much for being a part of the conversation today.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. Look forward to talking more.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks.
What's going on?
All right.
You're not going to
Before we say we already breaking it down. Let me start with there were a couple of y'all that had like really strong responses. We'll start with Rob. What were your?
I mean, comfortability is not what we need right now. Like, too many people are comfortable, man. We got come on, Josh, come on, bro. Like, let's say something. Yeah. Be the voice of change on that committee, right? And I get it. Let's face it. So give me a moment to educate people on how city government works. You can back me up on this, okay? So your mayor has no power.
At least in this.
I'm talking about the Des Moines City, the way the Des Moines City Council is set up. Your mayor has no power. He is basically like the spokesperson for the city. So if the governor came, if the president came or something like that, he's the spokesperson for the city. In order for him to do anything, he has to build a coalition with other people on the council. He is just one vote, right? So then the other people on the council have to come in with him in order for them to send an ordinance or a law or some type of message to the city manager office. Then the city manager office then has like a bunch of lawyers and people who draft up all of this information, send it back to city council for them to vote. But the real person behind all of this is the city manager.
City manager.
It's the city manager. It's the city manager, right?
Scott Sanders.
So this council.
Scott, reach out.
So this council. You gotta build a coalition between the mayor and Connie and Josh and somebody else on that council so that they get the majority, so then they can even get it to the city manager. Then the city manager says, then the city manager pushes the bill or the ordinance that he tried to push out last time after not even talking to CCI and the NAACP after they've been working on this for a few years. I know I'm getting a little loud because I'm getting hyped. But it's a first of all, it's a matter of respect.
For real.
It's a matter of respect. And if it's one thing about black folk, It's a matter of respect, man. You know, don't disrespect us like that, right? The city manager got to get it together.
Okay.
And we need the city council, who is technically his boss, to hold him accountable.
Okay.
That's what we need. A lot of people keep coming at the mayor, and he's like, I hear you. I promise to, you know, I promise to keep your promises and to hear you. He can't do nothing. He's one vote. He's one vote on that entire city council. And that entire city council has no one of color.
Exactly.
Okay.
No one young, really.
Yeah.
I want to say under 40. I want to say
Nobody's under 40.
Josh is under 40, is 40-ish, and not under a certain income line either.
Okay.
So it's a lot of different levels, and I go back to what Rob said. It's a matter of respect thing. It takes way more resources for our community to mobilize to get stuff done than for some other. Well, I say for a white community to say, I'm gonna go to a city council meeting and say this is a problem, and that might just be enough. This is something we know is a problem. You'll ask every single person on city council if they're racist and if they believe that Black Lives Matter and things like that. Will they say it? Will they act in that fashion? I have yet to see it. I mean, part of it means calling out Des Moines police when they do things that are illegal or immoral. And you can't even get that from them. Like I said, you had people that got on there and said the worst kind of words to hear as a Black person. And still, I don't want to take this as like just personally attacking people, except that I am. So, but Josh, cool people, interpersonal, but at the same time, you had a long statement about what's needed to do, what's needed to heal, that everybody matters and everyone's important, and I'm listening to you. And a lot of different city council people said, I hear you. Well, but then you didn't act. You didn't act on things that had just happened at that meeting. So your words rang hollow.
Yeah, man.
So why should I, then again, I'm then expected, even though I'm their boss, you work for me to come to you in a fashion that you like in order to get something that I need. That's where the systemic oppression comes in, because then I have to play respectability politics just to get what is a basic human right. A basic human right. But if I go in there mad, it'll be a problem.
Okay.
Look, we don't need no long soliloquy from Josh. We don't need no long Facebook or Instagram posts. I want to say this to our white allies and our white viewers, right? Who's going to watch this? Thank you for your support. We need that. We need everybody. This is a everybody versus wrong, everybody versus racism, everybody versus injustices, right? We need that. But we don't need you to just say that. We don't need you to just show up to the protests and chant Black Lives Matter and buy a T-shirt. We also need you to support Black-owned businesses.
That's a good.
Right?
Let me not to cut you off. That's an excellent point, because I guess, and that's a part of with having these conversations, I guess. And that's a huge one. That's one of the reasons that we do this show, is supporting Black businesses. That's huge, Rob. What things do you all think, or would you all like to see specifically from the city council, from city manager? What are some like point blank ... things that you all would like to see from that? Like, what are some action items?
Throw the whole system out. Throw the whole system out and start it over. Our mayor needs to actually be able to have power. The people on the council need to be able to have power, because all you're getting right now is puppets or front heads. That's my first thing. My second thing would be for us to be advocating for the change of the law, because that is actually what is part of the problem. The law allows for discretion. The third thing I would be talking about is changing the contracts with the police departments and how they stand now. The fourth thing that I would be talking about is accountability. When we're talking about we, the taxpayers, paying out money, we need to be talking about them, the officers who did the bad act, having an insurance bond, having it where their pensions are taken or the benevolence fund are taken. But we also need to be, as Black people, need to get more politically involved, and there needs to be more of us in the room, and we need to stick together. You'll have CCI fighting with NAACP, and I'm not saying they are. I'm saying that this is what kind of happens between people. Us as people, we're fighting amongst ourselves instead of standing together and keeping the fight behind the doors. And that's how
I struggle with that.
I kind of see that. I get that. I mean, I'm just saying what I've observed, and I'm also recognizing that there's other stuff out here. But I think for us, we need to be.
Who wants to? Somebody want to rebuttal that, or?
To Caleb,
I need them to be out in their communities that they're serving.
Okay.
They need to be listening to people. They need to be hearing, like actually hearing what we need instead of just giving fluff answers, really. Because if you are out there, you're listening to the people that you're serving, you wouldn't come with that anyway. Mm-hmm. You would know what you need to do because you're talking to people who are telling you exactly what they need. It's really simple when you think about it. It's not that hard to understand.
Don't pull me over for no reason.
Period.
We do the research, we draft the ordinance, everything. All you got to do is sign it and pass it, and still, I feel you, sister.
So what do y'all? That's an interesting thing. So like what? So I guess that we like Rob touched on earlier with the city manager. What specific things do y'all think are blocking, like in Des Moines with us right now here in Des Moines? What are the things blocking us in Des Moines right now from? Or are there specific people? Is it a specific law? Is there a
Economics?
Economics. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's legal status as well. I'm curious to what happens when we stop focusing on necessarily civic rights and start working on human rights. Changing the legal status, because I actually just found a document about changing your ethnicity. I didn't even know you can do that. And when you read the changing of the ethnicity, everything like Native says anybody coming from the original people of any of the Native Americas or of the Americas. Hawaiian, anybody of the original people of Hawaii. Asia, any of the original people from Asia.
Right.
But you look at Black and African American, it says, what does it say? It says any people from the descents of anybody from Africa. So it doesn't even say from original people. So to me, when I see that, I think of I'm treated as if I'm a refugee. I'm somebody that came to this land as a refugee, and that's my status, is how I'm being treated. So until that's being changed, can I even become a human? Am I even from the original? Because now I feel like I'm separated because I've associated with myself as the wrong ethnicity and something that was designed specifically to oppress me.
Okay.
So I'm curious to changing that and becoming more private and being able to operate in a more private sense instead of as a U.S. citizen and being subject to a constitution that doesn't help us in the first place.
Yeah.
I can be separate from that. We can. People can be private. We don't have to associate ourselves with this. We don't even have to build up barriers like in Seattle to say that we're a nation.
That's a great segment. I wanted to. Have y'all seen that? What's going on in Seattle? What do y'all think about that? I was watching the news today and I was like, man, that looks fun, dangerous, a little bit of everything, revolutionary.
My sister lives there, man.
I mean, my brother was there. It's the same thing where I'm like, yo, send me what you can. Send me some things. Let me see
I'd
that.
say this, just as a libertarian and over my political career, I get the opportunity to run into all types of people, and one of those would be what we would call sovereign, what you're describing. There is a process to become sovereign. There is a process to invoke your rights as a federal U.S. people, and people have to understand there's a difference between people and being a citizen. And I'll just kind of leave it at that. But if you really want to know how they're really doing it, you look up what the sovereign doctrine is. You look up how they are talking. The Moors did a great job of doing it. I mean, it's along those kind of lines of what they're doing out in Seattle. I mean, a lot of people are now taking up and invoking their proper status as a people of the United States. And to really get into it, you would have to start to bust down how there's two different constitutions. You have to start to bust down where the changes began and you'd have to start to bust down what your birth certificate is, what the straw man argument is, and to really get to understanding that. As a candidate, I do have that understanding, and just from my personal spot where I sit, I think that we all should be able to explore the freedoms that God gave us all, and that means also invoking private citizenship and reclaiming your private citizenship if that's what you chose to do.
Well, I'll say, I'm trying to think back to the question, which is what we need to do or what needs to be fixed. One, City Council needs to just pass the 6-point ordinance. No more time wasted. The way it was submitted by the community. It wasn't just ACLU, it wasn't just NAACP, it wasn't just Iowa CCI, it was the entire community, and the City Council works for the people, and the people have spoken. That's what needs to be done. But also, we need a lot of reforms to our electoral system. If Iowa, there are like 6 forms of democracy. Iowa only really has a direct democracy, I'll say. Iowa really only has one. And one of the abilities that we lack is we lack the ability to recall elected officials, or at least hold recall elections. Okay. This would be the instance, I'll speak for myself again. This would be the instance where if the city council is consistently, or elected officials anywhere are consistently refusing to do what they are supposed to do, which is answer to the people, unless there is a justified reason why they are choosing not to, this will be the part where you say, okay, then we need a recall election, and we get somebody who is actually going to work for the people. You can't do that. Yeah. The only way you can really remove somebody from office here is primarily through the Attorney General's office, and they will have to have committed a serious misdemeanor or a felony or some kind of, or just not showed up to work, or violated campaign finance laws. So then you have people who can just basically say, I'm not going to pass laws to help you, to protect you, to enforce your basic human and civil rights, and that person just gets to stay in office. And then you say, okay, well, we need to vote this person out. Let's vote, let's vote, let's vote. Well, you'll never hear me say voting is not an answer, because it is important, but it's not the answer, it's a step. And it's not even just a step that can be easily taken for a lot of communities, because then you have people that are consistently being outspent because wealthier people run for office. You have people.
There it is.
And so then our communities are supposed to mobilize. Our poorer communities are supposed to mobilize and try to match the dollars that somebody who makes $100,000 plus, maybe even more than that, a year, and is retired on top of that. And we're supposed to. So then you have working class, low or middle income candidates trying to highlight issues that are rarely brought to the forefront. And by the time that they really get the momentum to start going, their opponents already have yard signs. They already have staff, paid staff. And then people will say, well, your community needs to come together. No, this is what happens when my community comes together.
You gotta address those systemic issues before.
There's only so much personal power can do against systemic
corporations and super
power.
PACs, and you know what? That brings me to I know every episode we want to showcase a black business, a black entities, or something that's supporting these type of discussions, these type of talks. And Rob Johnson, he's actually blessing us today, gonna give us a little sneak preview of what he's got what he's been working on, him and his team. Rob, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, thank you, man. Real talk, and thank you to all of these guests. And Black Mental Health Matters, right?
For sure.
So what we started was we realized there's a lot of people right now who want to be active, who want to do something, who want to get involved. We don't need another NAACP. We don't need another Creative Visions, Urban Dreams. We don't need any more of these organizations. Mm-hmm. What we need is an organization that connects you to these organizations so that you can get the resources that you need. Okay. And so tonight at midnight, we're launching on Facebook the Community Resource Group. People from this table are part of that team who are helping to launch that information. So what we're asking from our community, if you have questions, let's say you need a food bank. Let's say you need a sponsor. Let's say you need an attorney. Let's say you need crimes victim services, right?
Campaign manager.
Campaign manager, right? The CRG is what is, you can look for it on Facebook tonight at midnight. The CRG.
And we'll share it on all our social medias too so y'all can tap in.
Yeah, it's going to connect you with that. So what we should see is a lift for all of these organizations that are actually involved. We should see opportunities where resources are actually getting in the hands of people who need them. The thing that hurt my heart this week, while we were out there protesting and fighting, wasn't being hit with a rubber bullet or a flashbang or tear gas. And tear gas, by the way, is the heavyweight champion of the world.
No, man,
it wasn't that. You know what hurt my heart, bro? Y'all know what hurt my heart? It was the fact that a young woman came to me and she said, "Hey, Rob, I really want to protest with you." I was at the gas station. She said, "I really want to come out there and protest with you, but I got to figure out how to pay this light bill." And I had no tangible resource at my disposal
to be able to help
to say to her,
so that she can go out and fight for her rights.
Because at that moment, I thought to myself, I got people marching side by side with me, going home hungry, right?
Risking everything.
Risking everything.
Just so their voice can be heard. Just so their voice can be heard.
And I had no tangible resource for them. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Kayla and Jessica and Danny and Madison and Antoinette and all of the people who are involved, and Terrence and all, because we're pulling, even the black journalists are getting involved in this, right? Like if you need a black journalist, you need a story written, we bringing them on, right?
Yeah.
So this community resource group, check it out at midnight. Danny Oliver, she's really been, I'm the idea guy.
Yeah, shouts to Danny Oliver.
She's been the one writing it, penning the paper for me, and Jessica in there. Yeah.
She actually just brought my whiskey in their store.
Yeah, she sure did. She sure did.
Creating a whole vibe.
It is.
It is.
And so the CRG isn't for me, right? If I'm going to be on the news, then let's use it to make something.
Community resource.
To do something, man.
I want y'all to make sure that y'all are tapping into that CRG. Yeah. Look for that on Facebook tonight at midnight. Support that.
Yep.
Yo, we're basically out of time, y'all. I want to thank all of my guests, Jessica, DK, Toya, Kayla, Rob. I want to thank our sponsors again. See, I got it under the table. It's personally for me. I wasn't going to let nobody. Red Boot Distillery, thank y'all again for supporting and being part of it. This is Sunday Supper. I just want to thank y'all for joining in and make sure that y'all have a great conversation with someone that you disagree with. Make sure that you listen to someone that you think is wrong, and make sure that you try to grow yourself. If you've had the same opinion for 10 years, you're likely an idiot, and you need to adjust that. There is nothing wrong with accepting new information and adjusting your opinion, and that's what this is about. There have been times sitting at the table, and I'm supposed to close the show. There have been times sitting at the table, people have said stuff, and I'm like, I disagree, and then they explain it a little bit more, and I'm like, That's what y'all should be doing. And so, also wanted to say, if you watch this whole thing and you're a white person, you're a person you don't have a clue what we're talking about, drop us a comment, drop us an email, message, hop in, drop a message in any one of the pages tagged in this, and we'll respond to you, we'll get it out, and we'll talk to you, because that's what a part of this is conversation. Nothing is out of the question, nothing is crazy. So yeah, I think that'll do it. This is Sunday Supper, episode 2. Thank you.
Obviously, the anger, the hostility, the bitterness,
it looks back. Best high in the hood since cook crack. See, that's what I'm good at.
I took a spill. I hurt my pride. I had to take a long, long look at myself in the eye. It's been a bad year, and I believe I paid some dues. Oh, but it's been a good year for the blues. Hold on, hold on for dear life. I'ma try and baby, stay strong, when the only thing I can count on is the blues. I lost a friend. Friends can't be replaced. I lost a lot of teardrops rolling down my face. It's been a bad year, baby, and I believe I paid some dues. Oh, yes, it's true. It's been a good year for the blues. It's been a good year for the blues.